For Collage Makers Summit 2025, I showed ways to use the letters ABC and turn them into shapes and then use them as shapes for collage of a flower. And I'm going to demonstrate an additional project, quick one here, where I've made marks on white tissue paper just with black, and how this is a great way to explore translucence and using matte medium, which is my default way of painting in acrylic. It's the material I use for gluing paper onto watercolor paper. So I use the painted paper, the tissue paper, and then it is also the material I use to achieve that translucence instead of trying to paint with just water. It doesn't work. It's not watercolor, and I'm going to explain in this demo how I use the matte medium to achieve translucence. And as you see, what I'm doing here is I'm sticking down the elements. You can see the long video. It's a 34-minute video of me creating textures in tissue paper and then doing the collage. You can find that in the link for the summit. So here I just want to demonstrate a little bit more about matte medium. By taking the pieces, the tissue paper, I first have to have the entire area where the paper is going to go down. The tissue paper, I have to make it wet with medium, so there's medium, the paint medium on my brush, and then I remove any excess with something like a silicone tool, a dough scraper. Credit card works as well. This is something, I think it's from Princeton, this tool I'm using here, but you don't need to use a specific tool. Sometimes just a credit card is perfectly useful for this. So this is a way to explore color. This is what I wanted to demonstrate. So the tissue paper was just black with white. So the white is the translucence, the actual paper that now sit on the watercolor paper surface. And what I'm doing here is I'm painting the areas with matte medium. So that's after I've done the collage and it's dried. And now I'm adding paint into the matte medium and I'm mixing it in, and I have different levels of translucence. So why am I not using water? For the reason that if I just dilute it with water, it becomes too watery and it sits on top of the surface, the previous matte medium covered collage area. And that is like a kind of plastic, if you wish, because acrylic is plastic. So the water just doesn't behave the way I want it to behave. It's not painting on watercolor paper. And therefore, by using the matte medium that appears here as almost like a milky solution, by using that, I have the control as I have with paint, but I can apply it thinly, and that allows for translucence to be maintained. As you see there I have very little paint mixed into the matte medium, and as it's painted on top of the black, it doesn't obliterate the black. The black still shines through. And the colors I'm using here was from the 2024 Colori Combo colors. I think it was week 9. And you can see that if you are a contributing subscriber, you can see all of 2024's prompts with demos of color mixing and painting included in that. And so here I'm adding brown and this sap green color onto, in addition to the yellow, and blending it in. It's a really good way to explore color, to see what happens when colors mix together, to use limited colors. And by already having this area of interest. The flower is already interesting because of the black and the texture that's existing. Because of that, I just add the color, and I can now add more detail and build layers, add more color on top of it, and develop it in a way to create more depth. So that's a really very good way. It's a very effective way to learn about layering and strength of paint, pigment, matte medium, and it's effectively the way I paint on canvas, but it's just simplified and shown here on paper. And it's something that is, I find, very useful regardless of how often I paint. It's almost like a little sample by creating something as simple as a floral in this way, and using the limited colors and painting on top of previously collaged papers using matte medium. I hope this is useful for you, and that you will explore collage and painting on collage. You can find the link to Collage Maker Summit 2025. And also, if you want to dive deep, have a look at my collage course. And for the discount link, you can see that in the notes. Okay, happy painting.